You're listening to Civic Media. You can tune into any of our live shows on any radio station across the state with the Civic Media app. Find us in your phone's app store and listen anytime, anywhere. This is your WXCO Daily News Roundup for Bull Falls Radio, 98.9 FM and 1230 AM in Wausau.
This is Civic Media News. I'm Savannah Tomei Olson. Former President Donald Trump is coming back to the Badger State. He's set to hold a rally in Prairie du Chien on Saturday, the adopted hometown of Derek Van Orden, one of his biggest supporters in the House of Representatives. Van Orden is being challenged by Democrat Rebecca Cook in November. Meanwhile, the Trump campaign is currently on a bus tour throughout Wisconsin. Today, they're in Appleton, Green Bay, and Beaver Dam. The last time Trump was in Wisconsin, it was in Wausau just about 2 weeks ago. And former Governor Tommy Thompson says he wants former President Donald Trump to campaign in the state's two bluest counties. He says Wisconsin is not a done deal for Kamala Harris and says Trump's team should come to Dane and Milwaukee counties, which he called, quote, the belly of the beast. In 2020, Joe Biden won 75% of the vote in Dane County and 69% of the vote in Milwaukee County. So it's yet to be seen whether the Trump team will take that advice. Political parties are putting a lot of effort into the youth vote here in Wisconsin. Some analysts say young people alone could decide the election. Ever since Kamala Harris was named the nominee, there's been about a 20% jump in enthusiasm from Wisconsin voters age 18 to 29. That means social media may play a bigger role than ever. Hilario De Leon is chair of the Milwaukee County Republican Party.
Everyone's on it. We get our news from it. I have a TikTok account. I have my own social media platforms that I do. Any major, corporation, company, sports team, political group, they all have social media.
Matthew Lehner is chair of the College Democrats of Wisconsin.
Social media is one of the big reasons why Janet Protasiewicz did so well in the 2023 Supreme Court election. I think you're going to see that again in 2024.
14% of young Wisconsin voters are still undecided. That's more than double any other age group. New numbers show the job market has rebounded in Wisconsin since the pandemic, but it's not equal across the state. The nonpartisan Wisconsin Policy Forum found while overall Wisconsin has more jobs now than it did in 2019, that doesn't mean every county is advancing in that category. 42 of Wisconsin's 72 counties have fewer jobs than they did before the pandemic. That means the state's strongest economic areas like Dane and Milwaukee County are carrying a lot of those jobs. And COVID-19 is on the rise here in Wisconsin. It's been spreading more and more since the end of June, according to the state's wastewater data monitoring program. But soon you'll be able to order more tests for free. The federal government is reviving its free tests by mail program. You'll be able to go to covidtest.gov and order 4 nasal swab test kits. All we know is that the program is set to go live in late September. Officials haven't given a specific date yet. Now here's what you need to know closer to home.
For WXCO News, I'm Brittany Merlot. A new AARP Wisconsin election poll is showing gender and education gaps in the U.S. Senate race. Jeff List is a pollster and a partner at Impact Research.
Tanya Baldwin is currently ahead by 3 points, and there's a big gender gap in that race where she's ahead by 13 points with women, but trailing by 7 points with men. And there's also a big education gap in that race where she's ahead by 22 points with college-educated voters and trailing by 7 points with non-college voters.
The same poll finds 48% of likely voters backing Vice President Harris, 45% supporting former President Trump, and Robert F. Kennedy Jr., who remains on the ballot after dropping out of the race at 2%. And Team Trump launched the Team Trump bus tour in Wisconsin yesterday, with a stop in Cronenwetter last night. The tour will continue to travel across the state for 3 days before ending at a town hall event in Waukesha on Wednesday. One person is dead after a fatal 2-car crash yesterday morning in Spencer. The Marathon County Sheriff's Office is investigating the accident, which happened around 7:50 in the morning near the intersection of State Highway 13 and Merkel Road. The highway is now reopened after being shut down between 26th Road and County Highway F for hours. And the Sexual Assault Nurse Examiner program, known as SANE, will now be offered at Aspirus Langlade in order to help victims get the care that they need. Assault victims will be able to go to the emergency department, where a qualified nurse will take them to a private area for an exam. There, the nurse will ask the victim about what happened, give them a physical exam, and offer a risk assessment for sexually transmitted infections. SANE exams can be done up to 5 days after the incident, and if a patient chooses not to report, their test will be sent to the state crime lab. Langlade is now the 8th Aspirus location to offer these services. Health officials are warning Wisconsin residents of a significant increase in cases of whooping cough. The Department of Health Services says that there have already been over 600 confirmed cases so far this year, as opposed to just 51 cases in 2023. Well over half of the counties in Wisconsin have reported at least one case, and officials are recommending that parents make sure that their children are up to date on their whooping cough vaccines. And here's something pretty cool. The University of Wisconsin Superior is nearly ready to unveil their floating classroom and research vessel. This project has been in the works for over a year and is now in its final stages before opening its doors for student use. Called the Sadie Ann, it will support programs for researchers, university students, and even kindergarten through 12th grade. The floating classroom is currently being built in Louisiana and will sail up to Lake Superior once it meets Coast Guard requirements. It's fall, y'all, and with that comes tons of activities on the farm for people to enjoy. Local pumpkin patches are ready for you to carve out time for some family fun. In fact, Grace and Sophie's Pumpkin Patch in Merrill has plenty of pumpkins and gourds of all shapes, sizes, and colors. With a little less crop than last year, you won't want to wait. And several businesses were nominated for the coolest thing made in Wisconsin, and 7 of them are local. Thorogood Boots from the Weinbrenner Shoe Company placed second last year, and their marketing director says that they have bigger aspirations for this year. But they're competing against other companies like Cougar Paper and Rothschild, Structural Steel from Merrill Steel and Schofield, Steel Plate Girder Deck Bridge from Veritas Steel, and wine, beer, and spirits labels from Wausau Coated Products, as well as textured granite custom architectural pavers from Wausau Tile. The winning product will be announced in October in Madison. And that's what you need to know. I'm Brittany Merlot for WXCO.
The Packers prep for Minnesota. Hi, I'm Jimmy Kuska with Sports, filling in for Mike Clemens. Green Bay is 2-1 heading into this Sunday's matchup with the Vikings. Head coach Matt LaFleur said they know all about Vikings running back Aaron Jones.
He's a problem. He is, and he looks really good. And I've been able to watch him a little bit. Certainly, he's one of my favorite players that I've ever had the privilege to coach a guy like that, just in terms of how he goes about his business, and still got a lot of love for him.
LaFleur said he's not sure if Jordan Love will be ready to go this week.
Well, we'll see. I mean, again, I think anybody that saw what happened to him, I mean, that's a legitimate injury. So, he's working through it. He's doing everything in his power. He wants to be out there, and, we want him out there.
Starting quarterback Jordan Love, who practiced all of last week, has missed 2 games with an MCL sprain, but could return this week. Kickoff is at noon on Sunday. The Brewers have 6 games to play in the regular season. They are in Pittsburgh for 3 games starting tonight before a home series with the Mets. The playoffs start in October. And the kickoff times for the next 2 Wisconsin football games are set. They'll be at USC on Saturday with a 2:30 p.m. start. Then they come home to play Purdue a week from Saturday at 11 a.m. Filling in for Mike Clement, I'm Jimmy Kuska with Civic Media Sports.
On your entertainment beat, I'm Pete Schwaba. If you can stomach the topic, there will be a new docuseries about Sean Combs. The New York Post reports that the Investigation Discovery Network is behind the series. The creators of Quiet on the Set, the Dark Side of Kids TV docuseries, will produce. Quiet on the Set exposed the toxic behind-the-scenes environment on some popular kids shows. The project does not have a title yet, but will feature alleged victims. Teachers don't get paid nearly enough unless they're on TV. The cast of Abbott Elementary received a lot of critical acclaim through the show's first 3 seasons. It's all paying off now as they are getting what Deadline reports are major salary bumps. The Abbott cast won the Acting Ensemble Award for Comedy of the 2022 Screen Actors Guild Awards. The show has also won multiple Emmys and Golden Globe Awards. The show's 4th season premieres Wednesday, October 9th on ABC. Sabrina Carpenter is on a bit of a roll following her win for Song of the Year at this year's Video Music Awards. So what's next? How about a Christmas special? A nonsense Christmas special. Yes, that's the title. Will feature musical guests and comedy with a dash of celebrity cameos. Carpenter says the special will really jingle your bells, and it will drop December 6th at 9 p.m. Eastern on Netflix. A few nights ago, country star Zach Bryan got a little sauced and took a shot at Taylor Swift on X-Twitter. The Swifties performed a Twitter takedown on Bryan until he went into X-Twitter witness protection and deactivated his account. Bryan took to Instagram, where the Swifties are still allowing him to function. He offered an apology, saying he is going through a hard time, appreciates all Taylor has done for music, and never wants to show malice toward another human being. He closed the post with "Don't drink and tweet," and then was ordered back to the corner by the Swift Army, where he continued sucking his thumb. Netflix released a trailer for the new Sam Raimi film called Don't Move. The Hollywood Reporter says the thriller is about a grieving woman who heads to the woods to find peace, but instead finds a man who injects her with a drug that will paralyze her. The movie will premiere on Netflix October 25th, and the trailer can be seen on YouTube. The Office is the gift that keeps on giving. Remember Creed Bratton, the creepy, enigmatic elderly employee who had no idea what his job title was or what he did at the company? Bratton recently posted a photo on Instagram with his fellow office mates, Dwight, Oscar, and Meredith. Fans flooded the post with comments. In his years since The Office, he has been acting and working as a musician, which is how he got his start in show business. And in case you're wondering, Creed was in charge of quality assurance. For more showbiz fun, tune in to Nightlight with me, Pete Schwaba, weeknights from 6 to 8 p.m. on the Civic Media Radio Network.
It is going to be partly cloudy today with a high in the upper 60s to near 70 today. The wind out of the east at around 5 to 10. Tonight, mostly clear. A little patchy fog overnight with a low in the mid-40s. Tomorrow, mostly sunny with a high in the low to mid-70s. I'm meteorologist Sean Cable. Currently, it's 51.
That's your WXCO Daily News Roundup from Civic Media. Subscribe to this podcast on Spotify, Apple, or wherever you find your podcasts. Find more news at bullfallsradio.com. The national news cycle never stops, but it can be hard to find news about your local community. Civic Media is dedicated to providing quality local and state news coverage across Wisconsin. With the Civic Media app, you can get notifications about local stories that matter to you and your community. Find the free Civic Media app in your phone's app store and choose notifications from the menu to tell us what kind of news you want to hear about.